What's going on? My name is Furious Prince 97, and I'm going to be showcasing the point-and-click 1998 psychological horror game Sanitarium today. Um, the category we're going to be doing is going to be any percent. Um, there's different kinds of any percent when it comes to this game. There is any percent Steam, any percent original, and then there's any percent Scrum VM / GOG. So the one we're going to be doing is the Scrum -GOG, and the reason we're going to be doing that is because there are some tips and tricks that you can do on this that you can't do on the other versions. Primarily, as you'll see here, under settings, I have animation speed set to maximum. So what that normally does in this game, you can't actually do in the other versions, including the GOG version. This one is run directly through Scrum VM, just because it lets you do that, and you'll see here in a second why that's very important. Just going to start a new game. As you can hear, there's a little bit of dialogue to begin with, but I can skip through those. We're playing this character Max here, and we're actually going to go through his mind. What looks to be just a normal prison cell, we're actually going to make it a little bit more understanding as to why he's here. At least we would if we were watching cutscenes. So timer will begin on Max's first movement, and I'm also going to be showcasing a couple Easter eggs in this run. I am currently the world record holder for this game. I timed it as 37 minutes 58 seconds, where the official time currently recognized by speedrun.com is 44 minutes. So here we go. In 3, 2, 1, go. So as you can see, I can just skip through a lot of this dialogue. We're gonna grab this towel and come over here. I'm gonna try my best to skip all the more grotesque pieces in this run, just because they can be very gory, because again, this is a psychological horror game made in the 90s, which can get a little quote-unquote graphic for its time. So this is going to be our first real piece to tell us that Max is kind of not right in the head. He's going to see the statue, and it's going to start talking to him. We're just going to skip by it though, because who wants to talk? Who wants to watch that? So this is going to be where our first Easter egg is going to be. I'm just going to play a little games first. One, I need to figure out what my name is, and these kids will help us do that. So as you see, he says his name is Billy. We go to this little cutscene. Nothing even says. Max will say, "I can't remember my name." And you have to talk to 3 kids to go and actually remember what Max's name is. So we're going to talk to Jesse here. Again, he'll say, "I can't remember my name." That's important because these 2 kids are actually going to be right there. As you can see, I'm walking very fast. That's just because that's what the animation speed does. Over here is our 3rd girl we're going to be talking to. We're actually going to tell her our name. I don't let this cutscene play out so we can go and get through it. So the first 2 we see the mother walking. We see Max in his room. We hear muffled voices. And then we hear Max. So we're going to actually ask why they're in the cemetery, and the reason is because they're playing a game of hide and seek. The story to this level is actually very important. This is probably the most important level when it comes to speedrun of this game, just because there are so many ways to screw it up.
Can I play a game?
So now we're going to play hide and seek with the kids, but I need to grab this crowbar first. This is one of the parts that is just unavoidable. That's grotesque just because it is there. After grabbing this first kid, we can actually do our first Easter egg. We're going to walk in this building. Now if you notice on the building, there's a fish. Now you would think that...
This place must hold some clues.
But unfortunately it doesn't. It is what is going to be called the red herring, and it is going to be a recurring theme throughout the run. You will see multiple red herrings in the game. So if I go over here and click on this little wing of the angelic statue, you'll see Max come here, and a little crow fly. Max will say, "Aha," and now we are a bird. So if you fly all the way over here, underneath the entire map, you'll see this little head. Now, this head is the executive director for Sanitarium when the game released. They put a little Easter egg in here. He absolutely hates this Easter egg, but we're going to do it anyways. Animation speeds might be a little too fast to actually hear what he says, but he'll say, let's say gross him out. And that's it. That's all we have to do. We'll come back over here, and to get out of this, as you can see, we can't touch any of the kids.
Poor misshapen kid.
We just gotta touch that angelic statue again. Grotesque warning. Just heads up here. So one big thing is you'll notice there's no adults in this town. There's just kids. So it's kind of creepy that Dennis is hiding here. That's the kid's name. We found out where all the parents went. You'll figure out why there's no adults here in a little bit. I'm not going to go any of the dialogues, obviously, so once we get there, I'll explain more. But there's kids hidden all over. Eileen loves plants and trees, so she's hiding in here. If you notice Max, when originally talking to Eileen, he'll actually say her feet are like tree roots, so of course she's in the tree. Makes you wonder how Dennis got into that building, though, with the boards on it. So that's all the kids. Now we'll come over to Dennis and we'll say that we found them all.
Huh. That wasn't so tough.
But unfortunately, we did not.
You big dope.
I should have.
Hey,
What are you talking?
So we forgot one.
What?
you didn't find Carol. She's our secret weapon.
Now this is just a content warning because it is going to be one of the only content warnings in the entire game. I think there's 3 total that I should give. You're about to see us dig up a little child. And I know that can be very upsetting, but that's what SGDQ is about, is like stopping diseases like this. And that's why I feel like this game and this level specifically is very important to be showcased at speedruns. Summer Games Done Quick, just because this entire level is about kids who were, like the level title is, innocent forgotten, or innocent abandoned. And what that means is that all the kids have some sort of disfigure to them if I do this.
Face looks like it's melting.
It's just telling us, like, they're dying. The adults didn't leave them, they were killed off, and it's because of what we're about to see. Basically a giant disease. It's also why, and we'll figure it out later, that Max's sister actually died from a disease as well. Right now he's just trying to piece together the pieces in his head. When he finds out that he's actually a doctor, spoiler alert, we'll actually see his sister here in a moment, but not in a bad way. Here in the pumpkin patch is the hardest part of the entire game, honestly, at least with this speed, just because the birds are really glitchy if you don't do it correctly. Like there, sometimes you can get unkillable birds like I just had, but that's fine. Come on, there we go. This part's not that hard. It looks a lot more difficult than it is. You just gotta attack the pumpkins. And if you click them fast enough, the jack-o'-lantern guy can't, or the scarecrow can't get you. So now we're actually gonna see why all the people are dying. Its mother. This is the disease killing the children.
What?
And if she didn't talk so much, as you're about to see,
If you're as
we would listen to the entire thing explaining who she is, why she's doing what she's doing. She really just wants to try to save the children, but they're really not being saved. In her mind, they are. For the longest time, I also did not know that this was even a thing. This little wooden plank right here, it's a shortcut. I used to walk up and down the cornfield the entire time, or the pumpkin patch the entire time. I also forgot to grab the wrench from Mother. So she'll throw us out when we say that she's weak. We'll grab the wrench here. That's important because, as you can see, there's a gas-powered generator, and also that meteorite that Mother came from. That meteorite we're actually going to blow up. Now, the girl in white outside the pumpkin patch, she's going to be playing an important role here in the ending of the level, just because she's going to be our last guardian before we move on to the next one. The more and more we go through, again, we'll learn more about Max's story. I'm going to try and explain it the best I can as we get there. We learn more about Max's adult life before we learn about his childhood. And that's the childhood is the important part.
Yes.
The comic book Max was reading also at the beginning of this run, during the little cutscenes where, you know, we're learning his name, are very important.
That would hurt. But jump. I can't even know they're.
Now what we're doing to Mother is we're actually exploding her. I'm not going to go in there just because I feel like it could be counted as grotesque when it's really just kind of looks like someone blew into a tissue. But again, for obvious reasons, I'm not going to go in. So here's Maria. Now this is an unskippable dialogue box, this entire point. So once we get through this tunnel, it's going to be the next level.
Yes, but where are we going?
To the asylum, silly.
Max, it's me, Morgan. I'm right here.
Asylum.
Now what I didn't know is you can actually click right here for a cutscene that I have never seen before. This is a cutscene like usually when you enter an area, as you saw with the other areas, you get a cutscene. This is the only one that you actually have to click a certain area above, and you can repeat it multiple times because of that.
How?
So we have to talk to this woman real quick. She's gonna move in front of the doors.
I am a. Where did? How did?
Remember what I said about red herrings? See that gentleman right there with the fish?
An old.
He's not important to our game. What we're actually gonna grab is this belladonna, and we're gonna make another character get up and dance, and that would be this ballerina.
Very disturbing.
We need this little cross that he was sitting on, so now this is why we had our move away from the doors. We actually have to go in there ourselves.
Whoa. Excuse. You seem desecrated. What did this?
Trying to get through all the religious symbolism as I can. For I try not to do any kind of religious or political things here, including in this game. Regardless of if he's crazy or not, like actually he's in the asylum for a reason.
This is a beast.
This puzzle can be a little tricky. I've still never figured out the full solution. Oh, apparently that's it.
It looks.
Remember when I said we'll see his sister? I'm actually gonna show this cutscene.
My spirit has been so dry. I do not know you, sir, but I thank you. What is your greatest wish?
I wish that I could see my sister again.
Max? Sarah would like to see you now.
One of the more heartbreaking cutscenes. And it explains why Max becomes a doctor once you realize that he is one.
Hey, Squirt, feeling any better? I don't think I can go to the circus this year. We'll go next year. Can you do me a favor, Max? Dolly, the one Dad won me the last year at the circus, Mr. Clown, could you get it for me in the toy box? Oh yeah, sure.
Just gonna close this for a second.
Where is it? I can't find it, Sarah. I can't find it. can't find it.
Alright, so
Happening to me.
this is gonna be our first level with a different character than Max. This is also the only level that we can actually soft lock ourselves in. So we're gonna tell him that we don't have any dollars. We're actually at this circus that it was being abandoned because there's a creature devouring its citizens or its customers that have been going on for probably 2 decades, I think it is. First thing we just gotta do is we gotta go talk to this guy. We're gonna skip all the dialogue because he does have a little bit more swearing in there than some of the other characters. And we just gotta say that we want a tattoo. He'll tell us no for obvious reasons. We are only like 8 years old. We're gonna come over here. Talk to this guy and say we want to play his game. Yay, we win. Now, that is a guaranteed win. So we're actually going to save the game here, because if we don't, we can get hard locked, or soft locked in the game.
Turn to game. May I?
Just like that. So, as you can see, I have no tickets anymore. So I actually have to reload. Because before that, I have 3 tickets. That's exactly the amount to play this game. And if you fail it, you lose all your tickets.
Load game.
And at that point, you can't progress because there's nothing you can do.
Show your muscle. It's not your friend. And you knock down all the pins. One ticket per throw.
Alright, now we won. So it still doesn't mean we're going to guarantee, because we only have 7 tickets. We need, I say we need usually about 11 to go and do something. So we have 11 now. We're going to go over here to knock down. This is another one that still has an RNG factor. If you don't hit that on the first try, it's no big deal. It's only 1 ticket to play the game, but you need that bowling pin. So I pick it up. I still have 13 tickets. I'm gonna actually save again here. Not because it's required, but just for peace of mind, because I want to show off another Easter egg once we get to it. And to do that, I need a lot of tickets. I want to say it's like 26 tickets I need. Okay, so we're getting close. The Easter egg we need, I need at least 15 tickets, and I think I need an additional 6 to do the other part of the main game. Oh, so I'm heading in the wrong direction, but I need to come over here behind him and go over to this child and just ask him why he's so lonely.
If you're so that hot, do you? What do you?
So right there, he's telling us that the strong man inside the circus is actually crushing on the fire breather. And that clown right here, this one right here, is very hard to get around. What I call clown RNG. This clown, on the other hand, all I need to do is give him that, and we're done talking to him. He'll give us one of the red balls. We're gonna talk to the to the strong man. Tell him tell him that we know what he's doing. And the reason that's important is we need to actually go back to the tattoo artist afterwards, because she's going to ask us to, the fire breather is going to ask us to go and grab fuel to learn her secret.
What happened?
So now we don't care. We're going to go back over here. And she told us we need fuel. She has the equipment. And we just need to grab this rubbing alcohol. The reason having the strongman go and be here is see this little shiny object on the counter. We need to take that. But we can't do it while the guy's looking at us. Because who trusts a 8-year-old with a needle?
Look, I don't. He lives. Mine. How many?
Wait, how many? Oh, 5 tickets. Okay. So I only need 20 to actually do a run.
Look. Yuck. That was.
We're gonna let out this creature. He's gonna be important.
Ow.
His name is Timber. And it's going down.
Wait. It look. No. Wait. Oh.
Oh, look at the angry clown missing his nose.
Spanky will see if you goes in on that.
His height limit is so high.
Ha ha! Throw this one back in the water, Spanky. She's too small.
What if we were to be kind to him
That was.
and give him a nose?
Okay, Shrimpo, step up to the sign and Spanky will. What the? Huh. I guess you're okay, Stretch.
See what happens when you be nice to people.
No.
So this is kind of telling Max that he's in a psychological horror. I know I'm showing a lot more cutscenes than I should be, but this one's just kind of important to tell you because, as again, we're playing as Max's sister right now, but the whole point of this game is to play as Max.
Who am I? Get this off me! Out! I want out!
A broken piece of mirror.
Alright, now that we're out, we're going to come over here to the fortune teller. And she's going to tell us our fortune. But we don't care. We're just going to have her send us far, far away. And by far away, I mean to the big time. But what if we weren't done with her just yet? So the reason I need all those tickets is this is actually the next part of the Easter egg. Or next Easter egg I want to show off.
It looks fun, but it looks.
Oh, forgot I don't need to
Turn to get.
write it again.
I don't. Look.
So we can actually finish the level now, but I do want to at least show this off. Even for 1988, the game gets very meta. Including when you talk to her again.
Would you?
I don't see why you think that your future has changed, but I will humor you with one more reading. Let's see. I didn't see this before. This wavy line is very interesting. It curves back on itself. Sometime in the near future, we'll have a powerful machine. You will play games on this machine. A game called a Sanitarium. How odd. Now I am completely drained, and I must send you away once more. Hocus pocus!
But what if I'm still not done with her? What if I go back?
Would you tell?
Back again? Didn't you ever hear of going to the well one too many times, you greedy child? I think you need to be taught a lesson.
Frog. Oh, the animation was too fast. So this is what I mean by Clown RNG. I cannot bypass him at all. I have to either wait for him to move, or I have to take the long way around. And he, of course, he moves. We really don't want to talk to this guy. This guy does nothing but swears every other word, so we're just going to avoid him for now. He's also not relevant to the story.
Timber! Wow.
Oh, I do not have... And that's when Clown RNG is bad. I forgot to actually breathe fire. That would be helpful. We're gonna take that rubbing alcohol we found. Come back to her. She's gonna show us. And then we're gonna do it. Come on. He doesn't want to move.
Wow.
So once we go into the cave, it's just a small little boss battle.
I'll watch over him.
Huh? And...
Say hi. Say goodbye. So that is actually the monster that was terrorizing the circus for all those years. We just decided to go and breathe fire on it. Because, you know, it's not like they didn't have someone that already knew how to do that. So this is the real story of Max getting over Sarah's death. It's also kind of what pushes him to accepting it and what makes him choose to be a doctor. As you saw in the first cutscene, before the level started, Max couldn't find her toy before she passed away. So it's haunted him all these years that he couldn't find the toy. So our mission is to do that very same thing, except this time with a different ending. Now you'll notice right as I grab this key, a little noise. Well, did you notice that we passed a clock on the way up here? And you didn't hear it, but in that first set of dialogue, they say about how dinner is at 6 o'clock and that he's going to be studied till then. So if we actually go and do this, and make it 6, you'll see the father then leave his study and we can go grab the next key and the VHS chip sitting there on the shelf.
He's a big ghost.
That wasn't very nice, Sarah. So now that we have these, we're going to go all the way to the attic. But before we do that, we actually have a VHS to watch. Oop, sorry, fast forwarded. We're actually going to skip that VHS just because all it does is tell us where the next key is to actually find the toy. And where it is under this stuffed animal right here.
Wow. You found it.
So this next bit of dialogue is completely skippable, but I feel like it's necessary for the game to actually have this moment of
After all these years.
closure.
Sorry it took so long. I'm so sorry. Don't be sad, Max.
I thought let you down when you needed me most.
No, don't think that. You could never let me down. You're my hero.
Hero?
You're trying to save all those kids. I know you can do it. I love you.
I love you too.
You've done some incredible work, Max.
Sarah is Max's motivation.
Shame.
Goodbye, Sarah. It's time for me to face the future. Rest well.
Alright, this level is actually going to be my next content warning. Just because this does get very, 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 very gruesome. But not in a, oh my god, I'm killing someone, but just the setting that we're going to be in for a moment. So if I have to censor any levels, this would probably be the one that I would have to censor. And there is a debug menu here in Sanitarium that can actually skip past levels. If I have to, I would use that to skip past it just for content.
I don't... It seems...
Oh my god, this looks so complicated. It's not. As you can see, in turning the wheel once and flipping the switch, it's just going around this circle with this missing ball, and hitting each one will unlock the steel ball. Alright, here's content warning before I enter this room.
Oh my god. I...
This is one of the most creative puzzles that I've seen in a very long time, as I actually have to go through here and find all the capitalized letters in his sentence, in his paragraph, and it'll form a word that I then have to make myself.
I feel as though the weight of the world rests upon my weary shoulders. Lacking any sense of direction, I have blindly followed in the footsteps of those who walked before me. Valiant though my intentions may have been, I was powerless to stem the tide of insanity that washed against the shores of the asylum. Although conventional medicine has yielded a few encouraging results.
Oh, that would help if I could spell.
I have... Aha!
Turn to game.
Experiments 1 and 2 were complete failures. Unexpected complications during my exploration into the brains of the test subjects regrettably cost them their lives. The loss of a few lives is negligible when compared to the benefits that a cure may bring. Obviously, I was in air when I thought that it was...
Aha! I
search in vain for the elusive solution to this, a most intriguing puzzle. Evading me the way a mouse does a cat, the source of insanity remains hidden from me. Darting from flesh to muscle, muscle to bone, and back again to the forges of the mind, this evil seems always to maintain one step ahead of me. How can I track what I cannot see? Surely I am close to the source by now.
I'm missing a letter.
It must rest, and when it does, I will be there to ensnare this beast. Once removed from its host, I am confident that it will wither and die like the weed that it is. Knowing now how difficult it is to find this hidden monster, I am led to believe that the age of my test
There you go.
subjects may be a factor. Younger subjects tend to display less evidence of infection. The madness is so entrenched within the aged frames of my older subjects that it is nearly impossible to discern the same tissue.
Aha! There's...
So now that we found those messages, now we actually have to type it in. So it's youth hides the key to salvation.
hides the key to salvation. Youth hides the key to salvation.
So this is where the comic book comes into play. We're actually now going to become the comic book character, which is why I say that Sarah was our first. This is probably our best, in my opinion. I'm gonna skip most dialogue, but this one I feel is important.
By the makers! Grimwall! You're Grimwall! But what are you doing here? Why have you returned to us? Grimwall? It's an ID harness. Look, my name...
So it wasn't truly like groundbreaking, but what he's gonna eventually tell us is that Grimwald is a hero, and that's kind of what Max is. Well, not kind of. Max is a hero. He's trying to save people, and that's what Grimwald is doing.
Return to game.
So now we gotta shut down this furnace. The reason Gravin can't talk to us is because he's actually too busy, so now we're gonna shut down this entire furnace. Alright, so now that the machine is shut down, we can actually go back over to Gravin's place and talk to him. We don't need much, we just need to tell him about the furnace and then we can leave.
Take my advice.
So now what he was saying there was we need to go and upgrade our harness, to get into different areas.
Who designed?
Oh, I gotta actually do something else first. So the reason we have to do that is because we're not allowed in this area yet. To do that, we then have to come over here. And he's going to tell us we don't have the authorization, so we're going to go back over to Gravin, and he's going to give us a code that will actually let us upgrade our harness.
Return to game.
So now we're providing proof to Gravin that what was happening with that furnace is actually not what he thought it was. So now we're going to go over to what he thought, to the leader's house, and figure out what's really going on.
Immortal.
And this is important just because Grimwald is Max. Max is trying to save people. The enemy here, Gromna, is actually a reference to Dr. Morgan, who is the antagonist of the game. If you actually look at Gromna, it is an anagram of Morgan. And it's to tell us that Morgan is up to nefarious purposes when he's saying one thing and doing another.
Return to game.
Because, as you can see, we're kind of cycloids, cyclopses, whereas we're fighting bugs, and that's kind of what Gromna's doing. Gromna's saying, you know, oh my god, cyclopses are superior, when in reality he's actually trying to overthrow the cyclopses and let the bugs rule on the surface. That's why the queen is here, that's why Gromna's here. He's actually betraying his own people.
Return to game. Return to game.
I am going the wrong way.
DNA test cycle initiated.
So this cutscene's important because this is kind of the later part of Max figuring out, you know, the cure to the disease. It's actually the whole point. Max is in this sequence because everything we're watching, these cutscenes, happens right before a car accident that puts him in a coma, caused by Dr. Morgan, actually, to stop his research and the cure to the disease that Morgan's treatment for is actually harming people.
God, that's it!
This is his breakthrough moment when he finds out what the actual solution was.
Right here! Right in front of my eyes the whole time!
Now what?
We're gonna let some of the cutscenes play to partial completion. But it's a heartwarming story, but it tells you as to why Max is in this position. Now, you can actually get soft locked here. I'm just gonna try and avoid that by letting the dead woman talk to me. So this is another one that has a major Easter egg in it. And this one was actually found only somewhat recently, relatively new, a couple years ago by a guy named One Short Eye. At least that's the one that I first saw it from. I actually saw it originally on another YouTuber's channel, but One Short Eye is actually one of the moderators on speedrun.com and is actually the world record holder for the Steam version of this game. I promise I'm going to get to it, but for now, I just want to get through some of the story mode of it, of the level. So you wonder why I have to take that body, and it's obviously because of all the red Kool-Aid on the back. So we're going to burn it up, and we're going to use that empty urn. But he's going to leave us another gift. He's going to leave us this glass eye. So when we come out here, we're going to use the ashes on this gravestone. Find out the name is Paul Stark. Now, this is why this is important. So notice there's nothing here. If I press Control and then left click.
Even the trees appear to be insane. There's something you don't see every day.
That's all it does.
Interesting style.
And there is another one, but I'm gonna have to look this one up just because I've never done it personally. I know it's not hard, but I want to make sure I do it correctly. So supposedly, if you click on that statue 20 times, the angelic statue here will start breathing. Alright, so that one does not seem to work, so I'm just going to ignore that. But the other one here, the left click and the control does work. I'm assuming it's some sort of reference to another game.
This pipe is cool. It feels much warmer.
So we're going to come over to 7. We're going to light it on fire. Well, I can't read that, but what if we had a glass eye that could? And this is the only part that's important. Speak to me, tree, lest your eyes nest with birds.
Speak. I'm a fool. Why must the
So the reason we had to find out the name of that gravestone is just because that's the name of his creator, and that's the only way the tree would have moved for us.
Well, Max,
Oh, maybe it's this one. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20.
Statue of the sculptor.
Nope, nothing. So we're just gonna ignore that one.
This isn't a normal. This isn't. This is.
Okay, why are you not giving me the cycle? Okay, interesting. So we'll work backwards. Maybe it would help if I actually put the right one in. I thought it was Big Sun, Little Sun, Mountains, triangle. I promise I'm good at this game.
His spirit. What name?
So you'll notice all these spirits, we actually have to talk to all of them, and that's just because there's a ritual part to actually finish level that requires us to speak to all 6 warriors, know their name and their position in the village.
What was it? Allah. Carved images carved in stone.
So what that was is just the that right there is the water temple, and to do that you need the Fisherman's Creed.
This spirit. What name? What was?
The other reason we're going to talk to these spirits is one of them is actually blocking us from progressing to one of the temples, and it's just important. It's just nice to do all the names while also grabbing that warrior last.
What name? What? Why is that? How does the right? It is not.
Alright, so what he was telling us is that we have to do the spell that I was talking about, but the only way to do that is to the only way to do that is by grabbing all the names.
What?
There we go.
This. You there. I. The. You. There are. I know. Is. Yeah. You. You. Miss. Yes. Very well. You say.
Not all his dialogue needs to be hit, but it's just really hard to time it and figure out which ones are what.
I have. Total kill. Fool.
Return to game.
You enough yet. I do know I'm.
Which one do I not know yet? Talk to you. Talk to you. talk to you. Is it you? How did I talk to you?
This water. What? Spirit!
Oh, I did not.
What?
Do you?
Yes.
Then let us.
Zilunen. Ometok. Tepetok. Sentiok. Witzelop. Mixwo.
You are
How?
not. Blood is done.
So what he's doing is making me basically a god. And now instead of burning up when I go here, I can just walk straight into lava. But as they said, it doesn't last very long. And all I needed was that little fruit and walk over here.
This. I have.
Very.
Although. Mass. Where? An. Surely, sure.
Now typically you are supposed to grab the Jaguar one last, but because I grabbed it second, it doesn't change anything other than the fact that I just don't have the totem.
These dogs.
Return to the game.
It defied. No. No.
So now what we're going to do is we're going to go down underneath and grab the mask of the villain of this level, which again is just a representation of Dr. Morgan. And if I was better at this game, I wouldn't be screwing up so much. I say as I hold the world record. So now, simple solution. All these maze corridors, and all I gotta do is just come back and do this. Alright, so we're 2 levels away from the finale. Now we're on the gauntlet. So now all the characters we just transformed into become a part of us. But
Brutal murdering an entire village. Morgan trying to kill me. Now I see the connections. None of this is real.
you'll also hear once I do
Those things
this.
will tread my feet if I try to walk on them. Who am I now? I have to hold on to my real identity. I am Max.
He's now figuring out I have to be me.
Pump.
Alright, we timed their song wrong. If we time it towards the end of their song, then we don't have to wait for the entire cycle again.
Return to
Thank
game.
you.
You'll notice me go to Grimwald a lot, and that's just because Grimwald is the fastest of all of them. He's also the strongest, so he's the only one that can actually lift the cement lid. Whereas, oh my goodness, I'm blanking on his name. The Aztec can only go and
Got it.
stand on these spikes.
Why are these? Clown's nose is popped.
Right, and Sarah can fit in small holes like this.
The engine.
You'll probably be thinking, Furious, what did you just grab? Well, you'll notice that we're missing a statue. And it's become a recurring theme ever since that first level of a statue. So we're going to build the statue ourselves, because Max is trying to piece everything together. May as well piece the statue together.
Return to game.
These.
Yeah. And I didn't give a content warning for this part just because those just aren't realistic enough bodies to actually feel like it needs a content warning.
Right way engine. But better. The end. Better. Right. The sack.
Alright, and now we're about to enter the last level, so I'm actually going to let this cutscene play as well. Because now Max is just about to enter the real world, except he has one final opponent.
You've come far, Max, but I'm afraid it ends here, old friend. As for these, you won't need them any longer. You failed the children of the world, as you failed your sister when she needed you most. You don't have the courage to save them, nor the strength to do what's necessary. You failed everyone. As I've told you countless times before, Max, you've always been your own worst enemy.
Alright, so this is Morgan's last game. This is the final level in the game. Because now Max knows his history, he knows who he is, he knows who he's fighting for.
Thing won't let me pass. What am I supposed to do?
Seek the truth.
But what do you do when your worst enemy is yourself?
You are truly a great warrior. You have the strength.
No more games, Morgan.
Soon the poison will reach your veins, Max.
And that's time.
You're my hero. I love you.
Shadow is gone. You failed, Morgan. I'm gonna live.
And then here's the final cutscene of the game.
Enough games, Max. This ends here, now.
Do you know that the poison will soon condemn you to darkness forever? Lost to your doomed world. Lost to your wife. Lost to your unborn child.
Now that IV that he just ripped out, you might think, oh my god, he's telling them he's dying. When in reality, that was Morgan. That was the poison that he was going to give Max. So he actually saved himself by ripping that out. It wasn't just him imagining it.
It's over.
I'm back. It's over.
And that's Sanitarium.
Head of the Mercy Drug Corporation, Dr. Jacob Morgan, has...
Quit game.
I hope you guys will consider me as being part of SGDQ, and I appreciate it. Alright, bye.